I am here to read story snacks for you. I've got another excerpt of Bird in the Hand, and I figured I would do that for you. Thank you so much for your patience. Rachel's here. It's been an amazing time, and we just needed an extra day because you know how it is. I'm Noonie of Noon and Wilder, and welcome back to Story Snacks, our Saturday morning ritual where I read a little fiction, share a little magic, and invite you into the worlds that we're building. And yes, today is Saturday or Sunday afternoon, but we're just going to pretend it's Saturday morning. Last week, I read a short story for you guys, and the week before, I read the opening of Bird in the Hand, which is a Silas and Knox short story set in the same universe as our upcoming novel, As the Crow Flies. We left off right after Silas's unforgettable encounter with Margaret the fortune teller and the moment Knox waited for him outside the yurt. Today, we're picking up right where we left off, with Silas and Knox stepping into the carnival together and discovering just how much chemistry they've been ignoring. And I have a super special guest today. Rachel's actually here. She just got herself some hot cocoa, so y'all have to give her a minute because she's having a moment with her cocoa. In the meantime, I'm going to read to you. So sit back, get your favorite beverage, and let's dive right in. Let's explore, Knox proposed. I haven't been to a carnival since I was a little kid. Where did you grow up? Silas asked. Clyde Hill. I'm a local boy through and through. Knox glanced at him and blushed, a rich rose color that looked good on his cheeks and throat. He was tall enough that Silas could see it crawl up the underside of his jaw. Haven't even left the state, though I might have a reason to travel south and explore Oregon now. Silas digested that. What about you? Knox asked. I was born in my house, actually. He shrugged. My mom has a lot of old-fashioned ideas, and she and my dad just added on to the house. She calls it aging in place. He used air quotes. My sister and I just tell her she's a stick in the mud. Knox laughed. Was it just the two of you? Silas nodded. Yeah, she's older than me. She got into university in Portland after she graduated from Volare. I don't think she figured out what she wants to be when she grows up. It's a big question, Knox said. What about you? Have you decided? Silas eyed him. Not completely sure either, if I'm honest. I spent the summer with my grandparents. My grandmother has a huge garden and an herbal business, and I worked with her the whole summer. He hesitated and then figured, just go for it. She wants me to come back after Volare and help run the business. Knox made a noise in his throat, sounding more like a crow than a raven for a moment. Is that what you want? Well, I mean, I love her, but I want my own life, my own home, you know? He rubbed his chin. Margaret's face floated to his mind. Who knows? Maybe I'll meet someone special. Knox looked down at him, silent for a moment. Maybe you have. Silas's heart skipped a beat. Oh? I realized I really missed you all summer. That's why I wanted to invite you to come today. Knox glanced around and then back at Silas. I mean, we spent the whole year in that study group and I really enjoyed it. Good, Silas blurted and then felt his face heat. I mean, screw it, just say it. I really missed you too, but we don't run in the same circles and we're from different backgrounds. And he ran out of steam and just stared ahead into the distance. Knox's hand on his wrist made Silas jump, and Knox tugged him to the side out of the flow of patrons. I'm glad we came here. Let's see where things go. Besides, we're both corvids. It's not like you're a crow shifter and I'm a lion shifter or something. Silas laughed. Good point. They started walking again, and the silence felt companionable. Then Knox pointed, an excited expression on his face. Look, there's cotton candy. His voice sounded like he'd spotted something shiny. Silas hid his grimace. Cotton candy was too sweet and messy to boot, but he could tell that Knox really wanted some. Sure, but let's share one. We need real food and don't want to get filled up on just eating junk. Knox snorted, but didn't argue. On their way over, Knox rested his hand on the small of Silas's back. When they stood in line, Knox crowded close, the heat of his taller body a long line of warmth along Silas's back. He fought the urge to lean back and snuggle. At the counter, Knox asked for the blue raspberry flavor. That's going to make our tongues blue, you know. Saliva sprang into Silas's mouth. It would make other things blue, too, if they got that far. Knox grinned. Yeah, that's part of the fun. He reached over Silas's shoulder to pay. I can pay for half at least. Shoving his wallet back in his pocket, Knox shook his head. Nope. My date, my treat. Silas tilted his head. So you were serious about this being a date, you wanting to date me. Well, dating to start. He gave Silas a fake leer as he offered the sweet treat. I think you're sexy, especially when you wear your glasses. I wear them for computer work. Silas rolled his eyes. That's a good career. My cousin is always looking for good tech people. Silas blinked. Was Knox really hinting at him working for his cousin? To hide his confusion, he leaned forward and took a pinch of the cotton candy. When he pulled it back, it strung out between his fingers and the stick. He did a twirl maneuver and stuck the wad in his mouth. As he licked his fingers, he heard Knox catch his breath. He met Knox's gaze and held it as he continued to lick his fingers even when they were clean. The tall blonde's pupils were blown, large and black, and he seemed to forget the candy in his hand. Silas nodded at the candy. Go ahead, hon. Knox pulled a large piece and ate it. Silas watched his throat bounce as he swallowed. That triggered all kinds of naughty thoughts. He looked around to distract himself. Hey, you want to ride the Ferris wheel? That looks like it's more my speed. They had paused a short distance from the ride. It wasn't a huge wheel, not like you'd find at a permanent fixture on a pier or something, but it was pretty high. But if this ride broke down at least, the two of them could shift and fly away to safety. At a trash can, Knox finished the last of the candy and tossed the stick away. Damn, I forgot to grab napkins. Silas caught his wrist in a firm grip and pulled his hand down. Keeping eye contact, he began to lick Knox's long fingers clean. He loved how the blonde forgot to breathe as Silas switched to sucking on them. It gave him a rush of power and self-confidence. He gave a last little nibble. There, all good. Yeah, Knox whispered, his voice low and husky. Silas laced their fingers together and tugged him over to a nearby ticket booth. My idea, my treat. He used his free hand to pull out his wallet and buy a roll of them. Going back to the ride entrance, the young man at the gate grinned at them. Going for a spin? Yeah, thanks, Silas nodded. The attendant checked the lap bar, being careful not to touch them. Silas's inner crow stirred as Knox scooted to sit right next to him. Their thighs touched as Knox stretched a bit and then, oh so casually, draped his arm around Silas's shoulders. With a lurch, the ride started its slow ascent. Silas remained quiet, enjoying being close to Knox and snuggling against his side. A bit of an early autumn breeze tugged at them, a hint of the colder weather to come. Like most shifters, Knox was warm, and Silas took the excuse to cuddle closer. Knox nuzzled his hair as they rode up to the apex of the wheel's circuit. At the very top, the ride paused, their car swinging gently. Knox shifted his weight a bit in the seat, turning toward Silas. Even knowing that they were probably bright blue lips didn't detract from the sheer sexiness of their kiss. When Knox retreated, Silas followed with his own. He could taste the sweetness of the candy. The car lurched and started its downward descent, and Knox pulled back. They rested their foreheads against each other, sharing breaths as they calmed. If their little car had a lot more room and a lot more privacy, he'd be tempted to do more, but too soon the ground approached. Silas couldn't stop grinning as they exited the Ferris wheel's gate. It led out along the edge of the midway, and the sounds of the dings and whistles filled his ears. Then he saw it. Come on. He grabbed Knox's hand and towed him along. You want to take me to a ring toss? Knox demanded. I suck at it. It's all about finesse instead of power. Silas smirks. You want me to win you a toy, little boy? Knox's eyes grew wide and he gaped at Silas, clearly caught without any snappy comeback. He didn't release Silas's hand either. They lined up at the booth, their hips bumping. Now that they'd made the decision to touch, they couldn't seem to stop. Not that Silas was complaining. He watched the previous contenders as he walked up to get a good idea of the timing of the game. Every few moments, the platform holding the blue and green bottles would shift to throw off your aim. He waited a few minutes and counted it off in his head. At the right time, he began tossing the rings. It took him 3 tries, but he did win the prize. He picked out a medium-sized blue teddy bear with a silver ribbon around its neck. Its color reminded him of the cotton candy they just shared. I present to you Sir Candy Bear. He gave it to Knox with a flourish. That's where I'll stop for today. Next Saturday, I'll continue with the next part of their date, including food trucks, deeper conversations, and the moment Silas realizes this might be more than a crush. Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment, or share it with someone who loves queer romance, corvid shifters, or just a little bit of sweetness on a Saturday morning. See you next week, guys.